Hello, Kit fans, and welcome back to Talking Kit. It's Wednesday, it's 8 o'clock, just about. It's time for the best part of the week. It's where we get our rank on. It is Full Kit Rankers. As always, I'm Double A. We've got James with us. As you may notice, one is missing. Sean, unfortunately, work commitments have taken over his life, so he cannot join us. But, you know, we've probably got the best of the three. The two of the best of the three, mate. Let's be honest.
It is. It's sort of, if Firmino's missing out that front line for Liverpool, it's not the end of the world, you know.
No, you could just bring Jota in. It's all right. As the great man once said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Rest in peace, Meatloaf.
Great reference.
You know, I'm in with the kids, mate. You know what I mean? Meatloaf, that's what the kids want to talk about.
Popular music. I think that's what they listen to these days, isn't it? Meatloaf.
Meatloaf, yeah, of course, yeah. He wouldn't do that for love, he said. So, but we will rank for love, and we'll also do it for free on a Wednesday night. So why not? Hey, how have you been? I've not seen you for a bit, I don't think.
Yeah,
I feel like
very good, very good. I said next time I see you, you'll be a dad, but it's not strictly happened just yet.
Not yet. I am literally on. Well, I say on call. I'm in my house. I'm not, but it could happen any moment. She was due on Monday. It is now Wednesday, so true. Like her mum, very stubborn. Just kind of waiting for that. I could have to go midstream. Things could happen. I may need to go. Hopefully not. I'm hoping she can wait till we've at least finished.
Yeah,
and then
it'd be selfish if she did it earlier. It'd be selfish, to be honest. I think
it would. It would, mate. You're right. You're absolutely right. But that's kids for you. But other than that, yeah. I didn't think the stream was going to happen tonight. I was stuck in Liverpool till gone 4 with work. One of the vehicles broke down.
Worse places to be stuck, to be honest.
Well, there's that, and I had the most Scouse AA engineer.
AA.
A proper mate. He made Jamie Carragher seem like he was from Warrington. Do you know what I mean? He
was yeah.
He was full on Scouse. But I made it. I'm here, and we are ready to go with a great episode. Like I say, no, Sean.
No.
But we did say we were gonna change it a little bit. I know we have been struggling for time. Like last episode was nearly 2 hours. That's far too long. You don't want to see our faces for over 2 hours. You know what I mean? So we are going to knock it down to 5 panelists on the regular. We are down to 4 this week. Like I say, no, Sean. But we've got 2 great people to join us and rank these kits with us. And I can't wait, mate. I think it's a good subject as well.
Great subject, yeah.
So without further ado, let's get him on. You know, the High Sultan of the kit community, the granddaddy. I heard a rumor this week that he did an Alan Pardew, I'll say that again, Alan Pardew style dance when he remembered that it's the retro football shirt fair this week in Manchester. It is, of course. There he is. It's Josh, aka the Kitsman. That would have been a lot better if I hadn't messed it up. So I apologise.
You only said Alan Partridge, I think.
Yeah, I was ready
I did. I almost did. There's too many Allens. How are you doing?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Really well. Ridley Scott stayed in town last week, so he's been sorting out this sort of like setup. Not gone well. Not gone well.
Nice.
Shirts might set on fire. There's a light right behind here. Anything could happen, mate. Anything could happen this week. That's beauty. You know.
We're all on the edge.
It's live recordings. It's live recordings. This is what we do. It's entertainment.
James could get cold and put his jacket on. I mean, it's all going on this week.
You know?
Anything could literally go on. But no, as always, mate, it's great to have you on as good to be as our 4th member of the band. It's been a bit for kits. I've seen you doing your bits for the Canadian shirts. I'm guessing there's going to have to be an episode of them very soon.
I think it's going to have to be,
What's that all about?
Yeah, it's basically the Canadian Premier League. What's that all about? I like that. I semi-got it, as I was saying, the response. Do you actually mean that, or is that actually a joke?
Yeah.
So Canadian Premier League, they've been going for 4 seasons now. Not a lot of people know that sort of like Canadians had the Premier League, but I think they were very, very sort of like everyone was going to the MLS to like Toronto and Vancouver Whitecaps, and they were like, you know what, we're not having this. You know, we're going to make our own homegrown talent. So they've got a Premier League. It's absolutely fantastic, and their kits are very nice.
Are they MLS? What's their league called in Canada?
What the Canadian Premier League?
Yeah. Oh, is that what it's called? The Canadian.
Yeah,
Premier
it's
League?
literally just called
Okay.
CPL.
Okay.
Yeah, so Macron have a 10-year deal with them, so they do all of their kits. So.
Oh, very nice.
Have you bought one as well? Didn't I see one on your socials this week?
Yeah, yeah. So again, this is just absolute madness, mate. Got a parcel from Canada and literally opened it. It was like Christmas Day.
Nice.
Literally got a few shirts in there. Absolutely delightful, I have, so hopefully going to be doing a few reviews on them throughout the week. And yeah, heard that someone from One Soccer, who is their broadcaster there, wants to come on the show. So yeah, he's got a blue tick on his handle and everything.
Oh yes, sold.
So we definitely have to do a Canadian Premier League episode very soon, then, mate. I feel that's has to be in the pipeline. Great stuff. So again, Josh, thanks for joining us. Our final panelist for this week, or final ranker, I'm going to say, for this week. I've been watching his videos for a while. He's on YouTube. His YouTube channel link is in the description, so make sure you go and check him out after you've obviously watched the episode. It is Club Football Shirts. Dan, good evening, sir. You okay?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me onto your podcast. This is the first time I've ever been on anything like this, so it's a different dynamic to what I usually do. Usually, of course, I'm filming for one person, so to have the immediate feedback from my fellow comrades here shall be very exciting. So I'm very, very excited to see how it goes.
No, we're very thankful that you've decided to join us on a Wednesday night. I have to say, your setup behind you there, mate, them shirts in that order look stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Oh,
that
of course. I didn't even realise the rainbow
ages
colour
to get
code.
together.
Yes, it's very difficult when I'm trying to film something and I start taking them apart, and then because I feel like I've got to put them back in the right place, it makes things a little bit longer than they need to be. But yeah, I must admit, of all the things that I've done, this is probably the best thing I've ever achieved in my life. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased.
Lies.
I'm gonna say having a baby, but really it's starting talking kit. But yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Also, we see you're a Chelsea fan. I have to say, when we obviously asked you to come on, I remembered that video you did opening the mystery box where you received an Arsenal t-shirt. That's one of the funniest videos.
Always on tick. Always on tick on the selection. Always.
It was terrible, wasn't it? To be honest, that was probably one of the things that sort of catapulted me into sort of a little bit of sort of viewership, and it was just so bad. It was really bad.
Yeah, not great. Not good at all.
No.
I don't know how I'd feel about that, actually. I think I'd just untick all English clubs, I think, for anything like that.
Yeah, I think because that one was some classic football shirts, you can't sort of differentiate between them. Whereas if you buy from other places, you can sort of mention in the notes, etc.
Okay.
So it was just literally whatever they give you.
Fair enough.
It made it for a great video, though, mate, and that's the main thing, isn't it? Great entertainment. That's all we can say.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so this week's theme, if you don't know already, we are looking at the top 10 Premier League goal scorers. Players that have scored the most goals in the Premier League throughout history. But what we've done to sort of narrow it down to 10 kits, I have chosen the season that they scored the most goals in their Premier League career, and obviously taken the home shirt from that season. Easy way to do it, rather than scramble around looking at all the kits they wore during the career, really. So, yeah, that's the way I've decided to do it, and that's the 10 shirts that we've all ranked. We will give out Sean's scores, even though he's not here. We'll do it that way. So, before we start, if you are new to the channel and it is your first time talking kit, don't forget to like the video, share with your friends, and also subscribe. That would be absolutely brilliant. We are, like I say, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers as quickly as we can. But the next landmark's probably 200. So if you can help us do that, that would be absolutely great. So yeah, let's stop messing around. Let's get into this week's shirts. So starting at number 10, and I mean, I think this could be the lowest score. I know it's out of 50, but it still could be the lowest score that shirt has ever received, with 9 points overall. Dan will be happy. I'm quite happy. James will be happy. It's the Liverpool. So it's taken from the 01-02 season. I know it lasted for 2 seasons. between 2000 and 2002. But it's the season that Michael Owen wore this shirt. He scored 19 goals in 29 appearances. And yeah, it's by Reebok. And like I say, it got 9 points overall. James, we'll start with you. You had it 10th in your list, dead last. Give us the reasons why.
A few reasons really for this one for me. Centralised badge, don't like. It's also got the outline around the badge. I get that because it's a red shirt and so on, but not a fan of that. The lines don't really do anything or go anywhere. Actually, I do associate Liverpool quite a lot with this kit because was this the same time they did that sort of the UEFA Cup, Worthington Cup, League Cup treble thing, or am I misremembering that?
I think that, it was. It was 01 he did that, I think so, yeah.
So I associate that sort of, this kit, obviously, with that team, which wasn't a bad team, to be fair. But, yeah, Carlsberg, obviously, a big association with Liverpool, which you say is a big plus. We always talk a lot on this show about, we associate this sponsor with this club, and I certainly do that with Carlsberg. Certainly a reason I avoid it in the pubs and clubs anyway. So, yeah, for me, centralised badge, not a fan. The collar as well, not a fan of the collar and sort of the V-neck on it, and that's why it scored 10th for me.
10th for me. Commentator Jake Johnson, that badge is minuscule. I've not realised that until I've looked at that picture. Whether the shirt's probably like an XL or something, so maybe that makes it look a lot smaller, maybe. When I look at this shirt, I put this 9th, same as Sean. When I look at that shirt, for some reason, the first player I think of is Igor Bishkan. I don't know why.
That's specific. I think of Haman. But yeah,
I don't know why. That's the first player I think of. Dan, you also had this 10th on your list. Is it a crap shirt?
Well, I'm kind of glad that it is 10th because I felt like my Chelsea biases were going to shine through too much. So it's nice to see that the sort of this feeling echoes through. To be honest, I'm pretty much the same as what James has said with regards to the central logo. That's never really something that I'm keen on. The random white piping that goes across the sleeves, it seems like it doesn't go anywhere particular. And I'm also not a fan of the crests that have sort of the shield behind it. Again, I understand why they've done it in this instance. I have like 420 shirts and I've only got one Reebok. So for me, they're not really a manufacturer that sort of inspires me all that greatly. So I think it's fair that this is 10th, and it's not just because I have a bit of a dislike of Liverpool.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. It's funny you say the Reebok shirt that won last week got a lot of love. The Sporting Lisbon Ronaldo one from a season after this, I think it was, or 2 seasons after. Josh, you had this highest out of the 5 of us, only 1 place than me and Sean in 8th. Is there anything you can say you like about it?
It's definitely a Liverpool shirt. I mean, there's no getting away from that. I mean, that is literally sort of 101. Yeah, I can't see anything sort of redeeming about it. I mean, Reebok, they're a mysterious brand when it comes to football shirts, aren't they? I mean, they didn't really sort of like have much of a sort of like an outing. I'd like to see him come back in some form, but in terms of this, a bit forgettable. I was aware of his shirt, but wasn't one bit something came to mind. And like I said, when someone mentioned the size of the badge, it is absolutely minuscule, isn't it? It's really strange. And yeah, just nothing really just to talk about, I think, other than, Carlsberg, iconic sort of sponsor. I just love that on anything. It's a bit sort of sad when Copenhagen dropped it. But no, iconic for Liverpool. But yeah, just meh. Again, there's been a few meh shirts, and this one's up there with the mehness.
Yeah, I agree. Everyone's thoughts on Michael Owen as a striker. 10th in the list of top 10 scorers. Did anyone like him?
He's on one leg there again, isn't he? So that's how he played most of his career towards the end. But...
Very well done. Well done. Okay, then. So there we go. 10th in our list with 9 points, coming dead last. The Liverpool 2000 to 2002 shirt. Obviously, we've just taken it from 01 to 02. Where Michael Owen scored the most goals in his Liverpool career with 19 out of 29 appearances. None as a sub, I believe. So there we go. Yeah, number 10. We'll move on to number 9. And this is the Spurs 09 to 10 or 2009 to 2010 shirt. Only getting 13 points. It was my shirt that I put dead last. Josh, you agreed with me on this one. So we'll start with you. You had it dead last. Yeah. Tell everyone why this is not a great shirt at all, or the worst of the 10.
Just a monstrosity. I mean, I just don't understand lots of things that are going on here. I mean, in terms of the side paneling, just seems a bit off. The yellow sort of fang-like sort of blades going across the sort of shoulders there just don't really do anything at all. I mean, you sent a few photographs because we've often haven't been quite critical of shirts that are in this way, in this sort of format, and then when you see it on a player, it actually makes it seem better. But I don't think even that was enough to save it. The sponsor just just looks a little bit sort of off. I mean, the sponsor as well, Mansion.com, Casino and Poker, it's a bit of it's taking over the shirt, isn't it? And yeah, Puma had a lot better than this particular one, and now it's just weak for me. Lots of things I just can't explain. When you've got things like that going on in a shirt, it's a bad sort of bad recipe for a shirt.
Yeah, Luke Fair seems to agree with you. It's a Spurs shirt, end of story. Got a feeling he might be an Arsenal fan, maybe. Hello to the team of our live podcast boys. They're saying hello. Thanks for joining us. Let's have a look. Who else? So Sean had this 8th on his list. Clearly not a fan. James, we'll go to you because you had this middle of the road. So do you like this one a little bit?
Again, we go down the list. There's a few other shirts I liked less than this. I take on board Josh's point. I think the sponsor does take up a lot of the kit. The yellow sort of that would go down the ribs looks better if you look at Defoe actually in the action shot. Doesn't look great sort of flat out. It doesn't look the best, but obviously you can see it sort of be under the arms there, so it's not as in your face. Yeah, I think there probably is better Spurs kits. As a heavier gentleman, it's nice to see that they're not in that tight fitting one. That there's nothing worse. But no, I just think there was. I mean, we'll go through the list. Obviously, you guys have disagreed, but I think there was worse shirts for me personally than this one. Yeah, again, I take on board what Josh is saying, to be honest. But yeah, for me, it was fine.
It was fine. Reminds me of, I think, when Spurs got to the Champions League, beating City at the Etihad. Peter Crouch scored that goal. I think it was that kid.
Yeah.
David Bentley drowned Harry Redknapp in the end. I think he got in trouble, didn't he, in his underpants.
Yeah.
Hearts back to those times.
David
Dan,
Bentley, number 5 as well. Ugh.
Oh, yeah. Don't stop it.
As a right winger, that's not right.
Give me the heebie-jeebies. Stop. Dan, you had it one place higher than myself and Josh in 9th. Obviously, better than Liverpool, but is it that much better?
It had a few things going for it, but to be honest, a lot of it seems unnecessary, similar to a lot of the comments that I've already mentioned. The sort of the yellow coming down the front here, and then above it looks like some sort of veins or something that are sort of present above there. Not really sure what that's about. And I do kind of like a nice side paneling on a shirt like this Chelsea one. It's quite subtle with the orange sort of floating down, but I feel like this is just too thick. It kind of takes over it a little bit too much. And then I don't know if it's just this image here, but it seems like only on one sleeve there is like a bit of navy, I guess it is, a trim. And then on the other sleeve, there's nothing. I don't know if that's just how it is, but that seems a bit weird. So I don't know if that's how it's meant to be, but I kind of like a bit of symmetry. To be honest, with regards to sponsor, I'm not too bothered. I quite like a big sponsor. But it's just sort of Puma from that period where a lot of their sort of templates were not that great. So it's just, yeah.
Yeah, so there we go. I can't imagine it's white, so I can't imagine Sean's going to give that a high night out rating.
He never scores well on his night out rating if it's in white.
Not in white. That just makes me think he's a messy drinker or a messy drunk and just spills beer on himself.
Beer or kebab at the end of the night.
Might make that shit better.
Spill it on purpose.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There we go. Wise words from Josh there. So there we go. Spurs 09-10. Home shirt worn by Jermaine Defoe when he scored the most goals he did for Spurs. 18 in total out of 34 appearances, 3 as a sub. Coming 9th on our list with 13 points. We shall move on to the next shirt, worn by the highest goal scorer in Manchester United's history. It is the 2011-2012 Manchester United home shirt. Came in with 22 points. And Sean had this dead last. I'm thinking it's because he's very bitter towards Manchester United these days, after being a Manchester United fan, as we all know he was. The next, I had it 8th on my list. I'm not a fan of this shirt, I think, and it's got bad memories. Reason why I marked it down quite low. James, no, let's start with Dan, because Dan had it the highest. Let's start with Dan. Dan, you had it 3rd in your list. What's so good about this shirt for you?
So I think it's because naturally I'm drawn to shirts that are a little, say, more contemporary than the older ones. So that's probably why you're going to see a lot of the older ones feature less for me. It's just because I feel like I'm more interested in the fit of the shirts necessarily, and I feel like the older one's kind of a little bit looser, whereas I know that this one's probably going to fit quite decently. With regards to being Manchester United, I think from all the rivals that Chelsea have, I would say probably Manchester United do the best shirts, mainly because they are relatively simple. I quite like the sort of the black and the white collar. Maybe if you threw something on, maybe the cuffs or somewhere around the bottom, it might sort of make it pop a little bit more. But I think a red shirt, even though obviously naturally I'm going to be against that color, I think it's pretty simple, pretty plain. It's not trying to be anything more than it is. And obviously I don't have the emotional connection with it. So the bad memories that you may have for me probably are good memories. So that's where I've ranked it that high.
Great. Yeah, that's a great point. James, yeah, we'll come to you then. You got it 4th in your list. Is it a good Manchester United home shirt for you?
I remember some good players in this. Chicharito would have worn this.
Phil Jones?
Yeah. Paul Scholes, when he came back out of retirement, did he wear this?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got some good memories in this, to be honest, Aaron. But no, I do like the simplicity of it. I do like the collar on there. Would it have looked better with like the collar matched on the sleeves as a finish? I don't know, but I quite like the simplicity of this. And yeah, it's quite a nice kit. It doesn't overdo it. Sometimes kits can try and oversell with a pattern or something in the background. But yeah, with this, I quite like it. The crest is in the right place. The make, there's the Nike logo there is in the right place, sort of traditionally. And the sponsor isn't a crazy colour or anything. I know we talked about like the Spurs kit and how that sponsor, that logo was quite big. Yeah, it works for me. That's why I scored it 4th.
Yeah. I have to say probably everyone's probably my favourite sponsor United have had other than Sharp. I think it just works perfectly. Speaking of sponsors, Andy's coming saying rival teams' colours on a sponsor is never a good look. I think he's talking about the Spurs shirt having red on there in terms of sort of Arsenal. He just come back with a comment regarding the sleeves
cuffs
for you there. Yeah. Cuffs in the same style as the collar would instantly improve this, but it's pretty decent as it is. Traditional look. Fair play. I think it's a bit boring myself. Also, we've had an update on Sean from Lucy. She can confirm he's a messy sober and drunk. So we've had it from the horse's mouth. Not that you're a horse, Lucy, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a messy drunk. We'll move on quickly then before I get myself in any more trouble. Josh, you had it 7th in your list, mate. Please,
what, you're just passing it over to me after you do that? Like, if you could just take over from that. Yeah.
I've just moved on quickly.
I also think it's a delightful sponsor. I think it's one of the best ones you've had. Like I said, close to Sharp. I think that just works so well. I like the thickness of the letters. I think that is very bold and punchy, and I think it works with any Manchester United shirt you could probably have. I've just been having a little googly-goo on the sort of reasoning behind this, and it says traditional red with a white crafted crew neck collar and central black stripe to replicate the design of the club's retro bar scarf, which has previously appeared on the shirts worn by legendary United sides of the past, including the 1977 and 85 FA Cup winners. What does that mean? Retro bar scarf?
Is it like when you'd hold up a scarf and it just have block colours?
I think the retro scarf that United have, mine's just red and white, but United's go-to scarves are always red and white blocks and then a thin black line in between. That's what they're trying to get at, I think.
Okay, so that's what was on their little marketing angle. Yeah. Apart from that, it's not much you can really say about it. Yeah, I think it might look better, sort of with the cuffs matching the sort of like collar there. And yeah, one thing I wanted to pick up with this shirt is the accompanying shorts, which are absolutely massive, mate. Yeah, they are. I mean, look, well, you can't tell there, but
no, Rooney's a big lad, isn't he? Look at that. That looks. Speaking of kebabs, that looks like Donna on a spit, doesn't it?
A frozen Donna, not been warmed up yet.
It just. I mean, I was looking at the promo shots for it, and you got Chicharito and Rooney, and the shorts. My goodness, it just looks like you could just prop a tent pole in it. It would look like the Bake Off tent. It's it's not great. It's not great, but no, not offensive. Very sort of safe and solid.
Wicked. I'm assuming this is Ollie from Team of Our Lives. He said he had this in long sleeve. Thought it was Berbatov, but had the touch of a Saudi thief. Okay, that's up to you, mate. They comment, I read out. They comment, I read out. That's all I can say. That's the thought.
Let's go back to Lucy looking like a horse, quick.
They're all trying to get me in trouble this week. So, thoughts on Rooney as a striker? Is he a bit underrated, James?
Absolutely. I think if Rooney was perhaps from Saudi Arabia, I think the press would have absolutely raved about him. I think he's almost. I think perhaps because he didn't play until in his late 30s. There's a thing recently, isn't there, that Thiago Silva's older than him and he's still playing at a good level. Blah blah blah. It's a shame, but I think he probably peaked when he did because he sort of burst onto the scene as this 16-year-old. So absolutely underrated. Perhaps sacrificed his positioning for the sake of the team and was obviously in a team with the likes of Tevez, Berbatov, Ronaldo. I mean, you name them, he sort of played alongside them. So, yeah, I mean, England's all-time top scorer, United's all-time top scorer, so it's got to stand for something, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. This season in particular, he scored 27 goals in 34 appearances, 2 as a substitute, which is a brilliant record. Just quickly, my favourite memory of Rooney was when me and you, James, went to the game v Everton, which was a boring 0-0, just before we signed him. And I was in a Stretford end and it never took off, but someone made a chant and it went, 30 million, fucking Bayek. We've signed a striker who looks like Shrek. Dying laughing. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's never going to catch on, was it? But...
No, it should have done.
Geniuses.
Yeah. Josh, quickly, you, Rooney.
He played a lot better when he was like angry, wasn't he? And I always remember that volley he scored against Newcastle where he just, right, I'm having it. And he just absolutely sort of volleyed it, didn't he? Just, I think the referee had a go at him about something or not giving him something. And he was like, Bayek, give me that ball. And he didn't he just. So, I always felt he played a bit better when he was a bit,
peeved. Yeah. Dan, finally on you, Rooney, your thoughts?
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for Rooney, to be honest. It's not often I look at rivals and think there's a player that I want in our team. But I think he had been linked sort of roughly a little bit with Chelsea. You don't quite know how true those are, but he would have been one that I would have welcomed with open arms for sure. We probably would have ruined his career probably sooner than it maybe has done. But, we would have certainly tried to sort of get most out of him. But, I like a bit of Rooney.
Yeah, there we go. Second highest Premier League goal scorer, Wayne Rooney. From 2011-2012, coming 8th on our list with 22 points. We will move swiftly on and get to our next shirt, which coming 7th. I know one person on the panel is going to be absolutely gutted that it's come so low. It's the Chelsea home shirt from 2009-2010. He's already looking peeved off. One, because it's the highest scoring season for Frank Lampard. 22 goals in 36 games which for a midfielder is phenomenal. None as a substitute. Only got 25 points. We're going to have to start with him because I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say. Number 1 in his list. Dan, where have we gone wrong, mate?
No, to be honest, I think you're right, to be honest. It was a weird one for me because I couldn't put myself in a Chelsea shirt below anybody else. And I know that's terrible and it's against the spirit of what we're doing. But as a Chelsea fan, with all of these rivals here, I just had to stick up for my team, which currently is going through a bit of a rough period. Because to be honest, of all the Chelsea shirts that I've seen over the last sort of 20, 25 years, this is probably the worst home shirt that we have had. I don't really quite understand this sort of mesh design that we've got floating around the stomach and then across the chest. So I'm actually surprised it's quite as high as it already is. And I never really cared for Adidas sort of breaking up the stripes. I know they used to do it because when you'd put the patches on, they used to crack if they put it over sort of the stripes when they ran all the way down. But to be honest, I'm not that surprised. It's okay, but I'd prefer it just to be totally blue and none of this weirdness going on with the mesh. So yeah, I think it's fair.
Yeah, that's some good points. Josh, you had this 9th in your list, so not overly keen on it. Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, it just doesn't look really sort of just busy, innit? And I think not in a good way. It kind of looks like one of those gilets you wear, and it's got like pockets for everything. Like, this is where I'll keep my snacks. This is where I'll keep me bait and that sort of thing. And a little sort of zip there.
Yeah.
Just too much really going on there, and also the sort of split in the 3 lines as well. Would it look better with them continuous? Still, no, I don't think. It's just that the paneling just seems a bit strange. I was doing a bit of reading up on it, and it said it was designed for more movement. It gives you just more freedom. Yeah.
Works for Lampard, I guess, but
yeah.
Well,
No.
Font was quite nice. It looks like it's harks back to the old sort of 02, 03 one font. Not too bad. I had this 7th in my list simply because I thought there was worse shirts than this. Sean had it 5th. I think he'd write that about a 7. Night out, Sean, for me. Just really like the busyness, I'm going to say. James, you had this in 8th.
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts on this shirt.
Frank Lampard, number 8. Yeah, I mean, just from what the other guys have said there, a zip on it. Not a fan of that zip, and also it looks like almost if it's missing the training top overneath, like the training vest. It looks like it's missing that with the pockets there. It's sort of the pockets of the shirt that break it up. Not mad at the sponsor. Sponsor looks okay on there and doesn't take away from it. It's quite a traditional sort of Chelsea kit, if you like. But yeah, there's definitely better Chelsea kits than this one. And yeah, for me, out of the ones that are coming up, I think this is probably about right in terms of the rankings. It's not a memorable Chelsea shirt, in my opinion. No,
I think you're right. Lucy's come in, weird stitching. She put my one and only comment about a shirt and not Sean, which is always great. Greatly received. Andy Cohen, a zip is always strange. Did you not have a zip in 99? Yeah, we did.
Yes.
That works very well.
Wasn't a zip, was it? It was almost like a smooth. It was almost like a little, like you get a plastic pouch for your sandwiches. It was almost like one of them.
That's what it was like. Yeah, it was. Thoughts on Lampard then? Ollie's come in, 6th highest goal scoring midfielder of all time. I mean, his goal scoring record's phenomenal. And I mean, and he was a great midfielder. It shouldn't take away from that as well, really. So we'll leave you till last, Dan, because I'm sure you've got glowing reports about him. James, big fan.
One of those players. I mean, obviously, I didn't watch him week in, week out. Perhaps Dan will have more to say on this, but for me, certainly warranted his place in the England side and stuff. He never looked like he did anything terribly, but then he wasn't super quick, he wasn't super strong, he wasn't the best tackler necessarily, but he always seemed to be 7 out of 10 most weeks, and every time I did see him, he seemed to have a good game. So obviously his stats speak for themselves. So yeah, I think fair play to him. He certainly had a good career. I think he won everything really, didn't he? So decent career.
Josh, Frank Lampard.
Yeah, great player. I think that he was solid, like everyone was saying. No thrills. sort of like the English version of Sergio Busquets, something like that. Also, just going on to his managerial sort of career, I don't understand why he's so highly regarded. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but like didn't do particularly very well at Derby, didn't do particularly well at Chelsea. Yeah, he got the Everton gig. It might be just his name, but I find that odd. But great player, but manager, I'm not sure. What with some really weird comments recently as well with regards to Everton.
Yeah, his uncle probably has a lot to say about it. Apparently, he's the reason why he got the Derby job, I've heard in the past.
All right.
Old Harry sticking his oar in. Dan, we'll finish off with you then. Frank Lampard, greatest midfielder in the Premier League history?
That's always the debate, isn't it? You know, I spent all my childhood growing up trying to defend Lampard. You've got Liverpool fans claiming Gerrard, Manchester United fans claiming Scholes, and it's like no matter who you'd ask the neutrals, and they'd always go for the other person. It wasn't Lampard, so I feel like I've got a bit of a sort of fatherly figure trying to defend him. I mean, like I'll agree with what was being said. He sort of was able to play the game, and he obviously wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't able to do that great with regards to tackling, but he just had that knack of being at the right place at the right time. And he wasn't necessarily the big game player like sort of Drogba was, I guess, but he was somebody that you could always rely on. If Drogba had been sent off for doing something stupid, you know, he could come in with the goals, he could take a set piece. He has, I mean, we've not had many players that can do a long range effort. He definitely could do that. And he's just one of those players that I think, obviously, he came before Chelsea, he was at West Ham, so he's not quite like a John Terry, I guess. But it's I don't think we're going to see many players like that. Of course, currently right now we've got like Mason Mount, who maybe sort of people try and connecting with. But again, they're just different players. Mount's more of a winger, Lampard's more of a sort of a central guy. And I feel like just the stats themselves, I feel like it's fair to include him in the conversation. I'm not going to be upset if someone says Gerrard or someone says Scholes or someone says Yaya Toure or whatever it is. It's just nice that we've got a Chelsea player who knows how to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah. There we go. Beautifully said. Frank Lampard and the 2009-2010 Chelsea home shirt, scoring 25 points in our list, coming 7th overall. We will move swiftly on to number 6, 1 point higher with 26 points. It is the Manchester City 2014-2015 shirt, as worn by Sergio Aguero in a season that he scored 26 goals in 33 games. 3 as a substitute. 6 on my list. It's a shirt. Sean, 1 place lower in 7. We will start with Josh. You had it in 4th on your list, mate. So yeah, give us your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, just I think with regards to wearability, also wasn't it one of the, when did the new badge come in? I wasn't the year. Was it the one before? I don't forget one. So this was, what year was this? 14, 15?
14, 15,
when did they get taken over again?
2008.
By,
yeah.
So we had a
I
few.
can do a quick Google.
Yeah, because I liked that badge. I thought it was great. I thought it like really had some sort of character about it. Whereas the new one is sort of I don't know, just gone and lost a bit of its soul, hasn't it? I like the shirt. I like the way that the cuffs are. I like the way that the collar is. It just looks very uniform. I like the fact that the Etihad Airways and the Nike swoosh have got all the same mono color. That dark. It's almost like it's like a real dark navy, isn't it? No, I think it's really smart. I think it's solid Nike. Like I said, it's a sort of shirt which, if I was a fan of sort of Man City, it would be my like one of my go-to shirts. You know, it's not too garish. It's not too sort of abstract. It's just a Man City shirt. And I think, to be honest with you, I go on what I would wear, and I would, if I was a City fan, probably be wearing this if I had one of the more modern shirts. So yeah, no, solid shirt, solid sponsor, and a lot of things to like about it.
Yeah, exactly. We've had a comment from Balham. He said, hello to everybody and to our friend who has a Dynamo Dresden shirt today. I think 2017 time was the new Manchester City shirt. I think it means the logo.
Yeah.
I think it was that around that time.
Look, having a quick Google, I think it was they were discussing it in 2015 and then it would have changed from there. back to the original sort of the original old school one.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned you liking that crest, Josh, because a lot of City fans I know hated it. I think it was because we had a Talking Kit pod episode with Daps, who's a City fan, and we researched what it meant, and I think it was made by Kappa to sort of elevate him to the next level. It has nothing really to do with
No way.
a lot of City's history, and yeah, it was kind of just built around nothing. The stars mean nothing at all. They're not European trophy stars or anything like that. And it was kind of panned by a lot of fans. Yeah, look, Jake Johnson comes in, 3 stars for no reason. Exactly, Jake. Exactly. We'll come to you next, Dan. Second in your list. You big fan of this one then?
Well, big fan is probably a bit too strong. I think it's just similar to the Manchester United one. It's just simple. It's a more of a contemporary design, sort of echoing what Josh has said, really. It's probably, like you said, if I was a Manchester City fan, I'd probably wear it. I think it's because it seems, certainly from the photograph, more of a darker shade of blue than the light ones. So it's getting a little bit closer to Chelsea, I suppose, if that's what I'm thinking in my head. But I quite like the details that are on the inside of the collar. So the sort of little motif, "We Are City." I like it when a shirt has those sort of small little details. Obviously, there may be something on the back. I'm not quite sure. It does have the shielded crest. And I don't mind that particular crest they have there. But it's just simple. Sometimes it's better to be plain than sort of wild, specifically when it comes to a home shirt. I know the current Chelsea home shirt's a bit crazy. I think I'd probably prefer it to be simple, similar to this one here.
Yeah, no, that's bang on. There's a little motif at the back there, just says City for you. Good point here by Ollie. As worn by Lampard too. He was at City at this time.
Of course. And he's scoring it against Chelsea.
Ollie with all the facts tonight, dropping knowledge.
I thought I'd got through therapy and got rid of that, but maybe that's coming back now.
So there we go. Just one more picture with Aguero wearing it. Not a fan of City wearing light blue shorts. I like them in white shorts. James, you had this 9th in your list. Is it because you're a United fan or?
I mean, I've put Liverpool 10 and 9, haven't I? But the badge, I mean, similar to the Liverpool one, the badge, it's got the crest around it.
Yeah,
doesn't need it. It is the badge that isn't great as well. It is that awful City badge sort of. Yeah, it's not a good badge, is it? They did well to sort of move back to the more traditional looking badge. Other than that, it's not terrible. The sponsor is in the right place. The badge is in the right place. They've definitely had better kit. Could you put the picture of Aguero back on? Sorry, I just want to see. Yeah, the sleeve with the sort of the different colour, the darker colour, it looks way too thick for me. The band is quite thick on it. Aguero's wearing them shorts like basketball shorts, isn't he? Almost there, but for me, it's not the best home shirt they've had. Certainly better than their current 3rd shirt, but for me, that's why it scored quite low.
Cool. And quickly, not much needs to be said on Aguero. I mean, one of the greatest ever. Do you all agree?
Yeah, bit of a shame what's happened to him recently.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, such a shame
to
end your career like that. So there we go. Sergio Aguero in the 2014-2015 Manchester City home shirt, a season which he scored 26 goals in 33 games, making him one of the best Premier League strikers of all time. I think we will all agree. We'll move on. Number 5. I thought this was going to be a lot higher. It's one of my favourite shirts on the list. Is the Arsenal 2003-2004 shirt from their invincible season, which most Arsenal fans will tell you is the best season in Premier League history, which is not true. I'm not going to lie. A season in which Henry scored 30 goals in 37 games, none as a substitute. Phenomenal record from a phenomenal player. 3rd in my list. It was 6th in Sean's. James, I think you agree with us. 2nd in your list. Why is this such a great shirt for you?
Great. It's iconic, isn't it? You talk about the invincible season, and I think on the regular show we do, we've got this idea of when you think of a shirt, you think of a player. I can probably think of 4 or 5 in this shirt. I like the badge. The O2 sponsor works really well, complements it really well just with the colours. if you were to, I don't know if you've got an image of sort of Henry wearing it, but it's just a good all round shirt, really. Quite like the sort of triangular finish over the shoulder in white, and yeah, I mean, you think Arsenal and Premier League, you think of this, so yeah, that's why it's good high for me.
Yeah, great points. Josh, you had it one place. No, you had it 6 as well. Sorry. Yeah, tell us your thoughts on this one, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm regretting it. Ultimately, I think that now you're showing it like that. I was always aware of this shirt, always aware of it. You know, some of the goals which you see in the montages, you know, they're always wearing a particular shirt. Obviously, the Invincible season as well. Didn't realise it was like a triangular finish like that. There is quite a lot of white on it, isn't there, actually? I mean, is that... Obviously, it can't be that much of a thing if they're wearing that much white. I mean, do they have like a, you know, how much tolerance they have? Obviously, with the Spurs connection of how much white they use. Obviously, you know, it's done them no harm there, considering they didn't lose a game that season. But yeah, I know we use the word iconic a lot, and I definitely do. But I think that one will go down in history for that reason, for their success in that season. 0-2. Love that sponsor. One of the reasons is because every time I say O2, I'm saying it in Sean Bean's voice. But yeah, no, I think it's a very, very good shirt. One that should be remembered very well by the Gooners. Yeah, not a lot really to say about it, to be honest with you, other than it's a solid shirt. Don't quite understand what this is here. We just thought they'd add that for, you know, for some reason. I always like it when things have a story, and that one, it has no place in the story.
Yeah, I think that was the Nike template for that time. I remember United's had a black one round it, and then it kind of went mesh from the line down.
Yeah,
it was a weird pattern, but overall great shirt. Dan, we'll finish off you then. You had it one place lower than Josh in 7th. Yeah, let us know why you didn't or did like this shirt.
Well, I think it's because of this template style. I'm not a huge fan of when they sort of break up the main body, which of course with Arsenal is red, and then they have, it doesn't necessarily have to be the white, it can be any color. It's just sort of overtakes it too much. I think I always think of it from the Chelsea point of view. I think if it was a Chelsea shirt that was blue and then it had so much of another color, I probably wouldn't necessarily be a fan of it. So obviously I don't really know many Arsenal fans that I can speak to with regards to it, but if I was the sort of Arsenal fan, I'd be not too keen. Obviously, it's been very successful for them with regards to their season, and that was sort of around about, I was getting into football about 3 or 4 years before that, so naturally, Arsenal were kind of my enemy. And luckily for me, they've kind of fallen off a cliff, so that's not too bad. But with regards to the shirt itself, I agree with the sort of bit at the bottom there with the white. Not quite sure what that means. And if we're looking at small crests again, the Nike tick to me looks really small. I don't know if that's just how it is on this sort of image. It's very weird. And also the collar for me, I'm not a huge round neck collar fan. I like a little bit of sort of a V going on. So it's like, I understand what it means, and it's you always remember it. But for me, I'd probably prefer another Arsenal shirt to this one.
Yeah, no problem. A question for everyone from Balham. A question for you all. O2, Vodafone, Wolverhampton had Doritos. Are you for or against simple shirt sponsors such as that? Are you against betting sponsors and sponsors like that in football? Yeah, well,
look at our previous ones. We've done food, haven't we? We've done food before.
Yeah, get on the Talking Kit podcast. We did food sponsors episode. It's well worth a watch. The simpler, the better for me. I'm sure you guys probably agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I think betting sponsors, obviously, with children watching, and it is an addiction. So yeah, the less of that, the better, I would say, personally.
Kick it out, yeah. That's what I'd say. Quickly on Henry, the best striker in the Premier League ever? I know Arsenal fans will say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, put it this way. Yeah. If you're ever going to talk about an all-time Premier League 11, you've got to at least discuss him.
Yeah. Would you say best striker but not best goal scorer? That's how I define it. I think he's a better goal scorer that we will see later, but I think he probably was the best striker.
Yeah, I think in terms of entertainment value on his day, in his pomp, absolutely.
His acceleration as well, just insane.
Unreal. It was crazy. Ollie's back again. Packed a shiny Henri in an 04 pack the other day. Cheers, Ollie. Nice one, mate.
Thanks for that, mate.
Yeah.
Have you kissed the girl?
So, I think what it is, he's become massive on TikTok. He mentioned it on a previous episode of Full Kit Rankers. He's doing the opening packs on TikTok. Go and check him out. I think it's
He got a million viewers on one.
Yeah, he's
Something
a good
like
friend
that,
of ours,
yeah.
is Ollie. Sounds
Great friend. Not so much now. You just said he'd never kissed a girl, James. Probably won't speak to you again after that. But Andy's back as well. The Nike swoosh is minuscule, and these shirts had a pointless flappy panel inside.
A flappy panel.
Yeah, I seem to remember that. Balhan's fair, James. Thanks. Henri is a legend. Yeah, he is a legend. Absolutely. So coming fifth in our list, middle of the pack, 31 points overall. The Arsenal Invincible shirt, 03 to 04. Moving on then. And fourth, I was quite surprised it come as high as it did this shirt. 32 points overall. It is the Spurs beating Arsenal. The Spurs 16-17 shirt by Under Armour. Worn by Harry Kane this season, where he scored. I'm going to have to get this up and find it. He scored a total of 29 goals in 30 games, almost a goal a game, one as a substitute. Fifth in my list, fourth in Sean's. Let's start with you, Dan, because you had it fourth also. Tell us about this shirt from the other team in North London.
Yeah, it did feel a bit dirty ranking it quite highly, but there's something that I was just drawn to with regards to the design. I think it's because I presume the trims are more of a goldy orangey colour. I don't know the specific shade, but that's sort of probably what they're aiming towards. I think that always is a nice feature, something I certainly look out for. White is always a good start because obviously it's just a simple colour that you can put anything on. And then you compare it with the navy across the shoulders. It's quite an interesting style, that is. It's sort of, instead of running down the front or down the sleeves, it's just a little bit. And I think it looks quite nicely, especially with the way it sort of then mirrors across the collar. And I do admit, I do quite like a sponsor that's a different shade to sort of necessarily the icons and the logos there, especially one that pops, like that red definitely pops against the white. I suppose you got the Arsenal Spurs thing again. That's for them to fight about. But it's Under Armour. You know, it's I like a manufacturer that isn't necessarily that sort of super giant in football, at least. So when they sort of get a decently sized team in the Premier League, it's nice to see them sort of get a shout, and it's not just the symbol sort of Adidas and Nike and Puma that we all see.
Yeah, absolutely. James, you had this down in 7th on your list.
I ranked this lower than the other Spurs shirt. Is that right? Pretty sure I did.
You did, yeah.
I think I preferred the other one, which, yeah. I do actually like the sort of the block over the collarbone on this one, but Under Armour, don't know. Can't make my mind up with it. I know it shouldn't sort of change my opinion, but yeah. I think the sponsor on this is more prominent than on the other one, given that it's in red. And how it really jumps out at you. Why that couldn't be in a similar shade to the badge itself. I don't know if AIA specifically are branded it with red, but that for me is the reason I sort of scored this quite low. Doesn't do anything really, this kit. It doesn't really go anywhere, doesn't do anything. So, yeah, that's why I scored it quite low.
Okay. And Josh, you ranked it the highest out of all of us in 3rd. Let us know why.
Yeah, I love it. I think Under Armour are a solid brand. Obviously, mainly sort of gym wear and sort of leisure wear and that sort of thing. I didn't realise he had 5 years with Tottenham. This was the last season with Under Armour. The one before this was the legendary seatbelt one. This particular shirt, I like it as well because the actual ensemble, so the away and third, all feature gold as well. So that was featured throughout all the shirts. I like a bit of continuity with it. AIA, really weird having it in red, isn't it? Considering all the other shirts were in different colours. Being their main sort of rival Arsenal, you'd have thought they'd maybe have made that navy. I just like it because like Dan was saying, I like the sort of, well, they're not really an underdog either because they're a massive brand, but in terms of football, they're not really big, and they are apparently rumoured to be sort of leaving the football world, which is a bit of a shame because I think with regards to Spurs, they had a nice little sort of the designers had a bit of fun, I think, with their Spurs, and this one with their sort of dark shoulders and the gold, and I just really liked it, and I just sort of ranked it high simply because it was memorable and it was one that I remembered, and it's something that's memorable for that reason, and I think someone's done a good job.
Yeah, absolutely bang on. Quickly, Kane as a striker, how do we feel about it? Do you think he'll go down as one of the best?
No.
If he wins something special? No.
I don't know. He's a great striker. I mean, on his day, I think he's sort of lost his purple patch a little bit, hasn't he, since the whole transfer thing, whether that's got in his head, and then you sort of start to question as a top player, has he got that mentality maybe? But listen, he'd get into my team any day of the week, so I've got to say he's a decent player, yeah.
Fair enough. Comment coming for you, James, from Ollie. I hope to kiss a girl one day. Me and my girlfriend just hold hands and get embarrassed as we walk through the Arndale Centre.
One day, mate. One day it'll happen.
Yeah, we'll see. We can help you out with that, mate, if you want. I'm sure we can help you out. And he's also said 10,000 followers now on TikTok and 2 million views, although I'm the oldest person on the app. I find that hard to believe as well, but never mind. So there we go. We'll finish off with that, with Spurs coming in fourth, 16-17 home shirt, worn by Harry Kane, who scored 29 goals in 30 games that season, putting him as one of the highest scorers in the Premier League. 32 points that shirt scored overall. We'll move on to third, 2 points higher overall with 34. Third place shirt is the Liverpool shirt from 95-96, worn by Mr. Robbie Fowler in a season which he scored a total of 28 goals in 38 games, none as a substitute, which is a great record. Fourth in my list, just a classic Liverpool Adidas shirt. Sean had it one place higher. We'll start with you, Josh. And also, I had it fourth. Sean had it third. James had it third. Josh, you had it fifth. We will start with you. What are your thoughts on this one?
It's almost like they started to design a cricket jumper, and then they decided to sort of turn it into sort of a Liverpool shirt. Do you know what I mean? Because that is one hell of a thick collar. I mean, I like a collar, but damn. I just don't like that. That's the one thing I don't like about it. I mean, they're being a bit greedy with a shield border as well, aren't they? I mean, I've got a border. I mean, what's going on there? It's like we're in the Matrix with Liverpool. What's the real shield? No one knows. Carlsberg, just I love that sponsor, and enough said about that. I also like that Adidas, we're using their word logo as well throughout that period of time. Don't see that. I don't think we see it at all anymore, do we? I mean, they're on about making it just so that there's 3 lines, sort of some of their shirts this season. But no, I think it's of its time. It's a very well-known shirt. But yeah, I think I put it fifth just simply because there are certain elements of it I don't like.
Speaking of the collar, so I helped source this shirt for my father-in-law, well, for Hannah to buy for her dad. I've seen that collar in the flesh. It's ginormous. It takes up most of it.
Is it really? Oh,
it's 90% collar. Yeah, it's all collar.
I imagine it's very top heavy sort of thing.
Yeah. So we'll go with you next, Dan. You had this sixth in your list, one place lower than Josh. Tell us why.
I'm not surprised that these next lot of shirts are sort of the top end, because it's very, very common for sort of these older shirts with very popular with sort of football shirt enthusiasts. So I did anticipate that to happen. And with me, I kind of like the newer ones. So that's kind of where it lands. If anything is pre-2000, it's kind of, I think it's mainly because I've never really seen them in person. And I feel like it's nice looking at on a screen, but until you see something in your hands, you might miss out on specific details, or you might miss on sort of nuances that you can't necessarily see from the image. But you can definitely see the collar, of course. I think if they got rid of the sort of bottom bit, which was sort of the white there, and it just had stopped at the red and the yellow underneath, then I think it would be totally fine. Again, it does have the shield sort of a crest, which was pretty common in those days, but I'm not a huge fan of. I don't dislike the fact that the stripes run across the shoulders. I think it's quite nice, but there were some Liverpool shirts from that sort of period of time which had a slightly different approach. You know, when they had the giant sort of Adidas running across, I kind of like that approach more than necessarily this one. It's not a terrible Liverpool shirt, but I think it's just because it is a little bit older. I just naturally in my head try and avoid that period of time.
Yeah. I love the name set as well with the 3 stripes and the numbers. Always jealous of that when I was
smart.
Obviously United were Umbro, and I was jealous that they had Adidas with those stripes. James, you had it third in your list, mate. Just a classic Liverpool shirt then.
Yeah, you know what? Despite what I've said previously about collars and stuff like that, I like that. I mean, I get the cricket vibe. It looked great on a spin bowler, but I'm a fan of that. I know I've mentioned sort of the shields sort of around crests. I just think if I was a Liverpool fan and I was a shirt enthusiast, which I am, what would I want in my collection? And that has to be in there. I think it's just a great shirt. Mentioned about the Adidas sign, just the lettering of it, iconic sponsor, that big sort of V on the neck. I think it's great. Even like the sort of the retro badge as well. I think it's really good. Yeah, I'm looking at the shorts in red. I don't know what other colour you could have it in though. I think it wouldn't look great with the white. But yeah, for me, it scored really high just on the back of what would I want as a fan of that club to have as a retro shirt, or at least just a shirt in your collection. And this would be up there for me.
Cool. Fans of Robbie Fowler, everyone? Did we like him as a player? Dan, was you into football when he was sort of during this time?
Well, it's difficult because I got in about 2000, so I suppose his heyday was just a wee bit before that. So I only saw him sort of tailing off towards the end of his career. So I've only really got sort of anecdotes from people who are a wee bit older than me. But as I understand, he was semi-decent. So yeah, we'll take it.
Are you aware of him when he was pretending to eat the grass after a celebration?
Yeah, I've seen those highlights. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
If I want eating it. Apparently, there's an article the other day. He don't regret that. He said doesn't regret doing it, which is fair enough.
No, for me as well as a player, he played for Liverpool and Leeds, so as a United fan and City, of course. I forgot about blank that out of my memory. So he's up there with James Milner as just pure scum.
Josh, finish for you on Robbie Fowler.
Yeah, all of what you said. And did he also play in India and Australia?
Definitely played in Australia, I think.
Yes. Didn't know about India, though.
Maybe I've made up India there, quite possibly.
You might be right. You might be right.
I mean, there's every possibility I'm wrong with that, but good player. You know, he's selling properties now.
Yeah. Was it with Steve McManaman when he does it with?
I think so. Yeah.
Fair play to him. You know, we all need a career outside of football. He definitely
we do.
So there we go. Coming third in the list, the 95-96 Liverpool home shirt. 34 points overall. Won by Robbie Fowler. Scored 28 goals in 38 games that season. Another great record for another great striker. Moving on then, second in the list with 36 points overall. It is the Newcastle United, if I can get it up, Newcastle United 93-94 shirt, as worn by Andy Cole in a season where he scored 34 goals in 40 games. I think this was obviously when there was 24 teams in the Premier League.
Proper football.
Proper football. No messing about. So yeah, that's comes second in the list. I had it first in my list. I just think it's an absolutely classic, iconic kit. That sponsor just screams Newcastle. Sean had it second, close to me. We'll start with him because he had it second also. the Newcastle fan amongst us is Josh. Why is it so great?
Oh, it's just I'm appreciating it more and more and more and more now it's on this big screen. It's so good. Like, there's been so many iterations of a Newcastle shirt, like thick stripes, thin stripes. You know, should there be 3 black stripes? Should there be 4? Oh, that was just perfection. The width of them are fantastic. The collar, the accents of blue. That blue star as well with the time bridge on. Am I getting a bit too emotional?
No, this is why we do it. This is why we do it, Josh.
Do you feel the emotion? Do you feel the bloody emotion right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just think it's
we want.
absolutely stunning. I'm a huge fan of Asics around about this time as well. I think they were running riot in both the Prem and Serie A. I just think it's just absolutely delightful. There's not enough words to say about it. I always thought that this one after was good. This is my actual shirt for when I were a little wee nipper. Yeah, I think I prefer the blue star on its own, you know. I really do.
Yeah.
I think that works a lot better, to be honest with you. Little fact, there is a club actually called Newcastle Blue Star. And they actually do have the Blue Star as their sponsor still. They don the Newcastle United black and white stripes. So big shout out to them. And the way that name and number is encapsulated in that black there. It's very, very cleverly done. And I'm just not going on about it now, but it's really, 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 really beautiful. I enjoy it a lot, and I think a lot of people will more than likely say this is up there with maybe the best or second best, along with the one I've just shown.
Yeah, I think they've done this season's Newcastle kit right there, because they've blocked it off in the right way, where it's done on the front, where it's got the big 4.
Yeah,
this season is they've done it like that for the numbers. That's how they should do it every single season, Newcastle. And it looks absolutely amazing. Big up Soups. He says, lovely kit. It is a lovely kit. You're absolutely right. We will go with James then next, because you had this 6 in your list, mate. So how come you've...
Yeah, I know. And the way Josh has spoke so passionately about it, I do kind of feel bad. I think looking at it, when I was looking at the pictures, I was like, I prefer the Newcastle Brown Ale, like the more, what's the word I'm looking for? The one that everyone sort of associates with Newcastle.
More logo one, the one you just shown.
Yeah. So with that one, I was like, yeah, that's sort of, for me, in my mind, what I go for. I quite like Asics on there. I do actually quite like the sort of the button down on the collar as well. It is a nice kit. I mean, he came to me right after Josh. I felt like I'm going to cry and sort of just shut the laptop down, to be honest. But it is a great kit. But for me, I don't know. In terms of, it looks a little bit...
You don't know why you don't like it.
You know what it is? You know what it is? I didn't really want to say it after, I don't want to break your heart, but it looks a little bit sort of, the McDonald's, the McBurglar, what's he called from it looks a bit like your typical the Hamburglar, the stripes. It looks a bit like someone's just broken out of prison. So yeah, for me, that's some of the reasons behind it.
Okay.
Well, you're lucky, James, because you're not the person who ranked it the lowest, because that was Dan. And I can imagine, for valid reasons, of because it's pre-2000. He had it in 8th overall. Please explain yourself there, Dan, please.
Yeah, I'll try my best. I feel like I'm going to be severely judged with these comments. But to be honest, without wanting to infuriate Josh too greatly, I've never quite understood Newcastle as a club, really. However, recently I've been...
What does that mean? Just don't understand them.
I feel like they're kind of sort of in that middle ground, where they've had these amazing players like Shearer, of course, but they've just kind of, I don't know, it's an interesting club. And with regards to their shirts, it's difficult, because obviously when I was growing into football, they kind of had these weird sponsors that I think we all agree are probably not the greatest, with regards to like Wonga and sort of Northern Rock, which all of I've got
Virgin
there.
Money.
Sort of. Yeah, exactly. And NTL was pretty decent, to be honest. I don't dislike that. I probably associate that probably most with Newcastle. With regards to this sponsor, I'm not a huge fan of just like a graphic being used. Like, for instance, this Chelsea one, I'm not really a fan of the giant 3. I kind of prefer a bit of text. So I suppose that's probably where it's coming from with regards to that. I do like the little blue trims. That's fine. But again, it's because it's a little bit of an older shirt. I do like their current shirts this season. I think they're really nice shirts. I think Castor done a great job. But again, it's just because it's an older shirt compared to a contemporary one. But I am starting to get Newcastle as a club. So, yes.
That's the main thing. Finished with the season, obviously tempted Manchester United to go and get him the season after in the January of '95, I think it was. One of the greatest days of my life. Loved Andy Cole and everything about him. So yeah, it was a season he scored 34 goals in 40 games. Were we all a fan of Andy Cole? Well, I guess. Yeah.
Best strike partnership ever as a duo.
Yeah.
Two
I
up
think
front,
he
him and
left
York.
Newcastle too soon, to be honest.
Yeah. I remember to say, is he the third highest goal scorer in the Premier League history without penalties as well? Says a lot for the type of player he is. Probably a lot very underrated. I remember him always playing for England or getting England chances and not being able to score, and it just made him look terrible. But great striker, won pretty much
underrated rapper as well. So
underrated. I don't know about that one. Outstanding rapper he was.
Yeah.
So there we go. Andy Cole and Newcastle 93-94 home shirt coming second in our list, which means we've got one shirt left. We all know what it is. It impressively scored 45 points out of 50. 3 people put it top of their list, and it is the shirt that was worn by the Premier League's highest goal scorer. So it's only fitting that he come top of the list. It is the Blackburn Rovers 94-95 home shirt, the title-winning shirt. The season they won their single Premier League. Yeah, here we go. Our 6. I guess we're gonna have to start with Josh, aren't we? Because is this the shirt? Because I remember you telling us you were
crying. I can just sense it. Oh god.
Or should we leave you till last, Josh? Should we leave you till last so you can end it lovely? Let's do that. Because James, you put it first as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell us why.
You know what? I guess you could say similar to Newcastle with the sort of the block colours, if you like, with their stripes, and they have to change the colour of their sort of names, the name types on the back. So I really like how the red complements. Obviously, I know it's the rose as part of the badge, but I like the red on this. It really complements the blue and the white. McEwen's associate that with Blackburn. Asics, a strong kit. Quite, the collar's decent on there. It's got the little red triangle as well that complements it really well. Not too sure what it says on the sleeves, but I'm sure it's something that's. I don't know.
I think is it from the badge?
It's the slogan. Arte Labor. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So again, just a nice little nod to the club and make it a little bit more unique. But yeah, it's a solid kit, to be honest. I don't know if Colin Hendry would have worn this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So players like that, again, they can associate with it, and I really like it. I'll even forgive the fact that the McEwen's is sort of just ironed over the top. I'll even forgive that for it given the time period. But yeah, it's just a great shirt.
High praise indeed. Second in the list for me, obviously I put Newcastle first. First for Sean. Also, I imagine this gets a 10 out of 10 for a night out rating from him. We're going to finish with Josh. Dan, you had it 5th, middle of the road. Quite high then for a shirt pre-2000s for you.
Yeah. To be honest, it's one of those ones where when I was looking through, I was thinking, where would I, if I replaced all these crests with just a generic team and specifically looking at the shirt, would I be interested in it? And I was trying to bracket through all the shirts that I have, and I don't actually think I have one that has this style, which has obviously the 2 colours and then sort of opposite on either side. And it's one of those ones where I kind of do sort of flip on it. Sometimes I look at it and I think that's a really nice shirt, and then sometimes I look and go, yeah, I don't really get what's going on there. So I thought it was only fair to put it in the middle with that respects. Again, it has a sponsor which is sort of plastered on top. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like it to be a little bit more sort of neater. But I do like the red. It sort of jumps out, and a button on your collar, I think, always works. And the small little detail on the sleeves. I'm always a fan of when clubs can sort of bring a little bit of a personal touch to the finish. So yeah, it's not too bad.
Brilliant. So 34 goals in 42 games for Shearer this season. Like I say, won the Premier League in this season. Go on, we'll finish off with Josh because I know he's gushing and beaming. He wants to tell us everything that's great with this shirt. The floor is yours, Kitsman.
Oh, cheers, man. Yeah, it's my first ever kit. I was a Blackburn Rovers fan. I was. There you are. A little exclusive. Well, it's not exclusive. You already know about it. It's not even news. But yeah, no. Started off as a Blackburn Rovers fan. I was very much an Alan Shearer fan, to be honest with you. I changed my colours in 95, 96, coming home from a Euro camp holiday in France. Links FM, news break. Shearer's gone to Newcastle for 15 mil. Well, that's that over and done with then. Straight over to Newcastle. But yeah, no, I own it. It's not been sort of like clean forever because, like you said, James, the actual felt I'm worried will dissolve. I've heard horror stories about people that have just put it in wash and it's just come out and it's just fizzled away. But yeah, no, in terms of the design itself, it's just, when I've said to you about shirts that are quite solid in this, like some of the Liverpool ones, the Man United ones, which are just all one colour, that are quite solid and are obviously that team. This one here, it's like so well designed. Like there's quite a bit going on, yet it all still feels like it should be there. I think the red accents are absolutely delightful. The way that it actually is on the cord of the shorts as well. It's in the inner collar. It's on the McEwen's lager. They're celebrating their club, the Latin Arte Labor, Asics in black. I think it's just such a strong shirt, and it's obviously like solidified itself in history with the fact they won the Prem that year as well. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get much better than this. I think Blackburn Rovers fans will have immortalised this in their collections if they have one of this particular shirt in there. But no, pure peak Asics, peak Premier League football shirt design. So much to love about it. Very little to dislike.
Bang on, nail on the head. Finally then, Alan Shearer. I said before, Henry the best striker. Shearer the best goal scorer for everyone?
It's got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's just the ultimate striker, headers, left foot, right foot, penalties. Just absolute rockets. Just threw himself at the ball as well, didn't he? Like a lot of players often think, I don't like that. Dan hates it. Hates it, but yeah, I think Shearer was complete, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so. I think just to add to that with Shearer, he's sort of the one that I think his only criticism is perhaps he didn't win more as a player, but in sort of teams, but as an individual, a great player and never shied away from a big game as well.
No. Not at all. So there we go. Number one on our list with 45 points, almost getting a perfect score. It's the Blackburn Rovers 94-95 Premier League winning shirt for Blackburn Rovers. And Alan Shearer, like I said, 34 goals in 42 games that season. Quickly show everyone scores, obviously, so we're not cheating. And there is everyone's and how it all panned out. So there we go. So yeah, that is it. Almost. Dan's not come back, so we can't really say goodbye to him, which is a shame. That is it almost for us. We do have to say as well, this Sunday, we're starting a monthly show with myself and Ryan from Northern Ireland Classic Shirt Co. We did mention it before, and it is Talking Kit Get to Know. So we sit down with a collector and a seller of football shirts, and we just have a little chat and get to know why they got into it, what they love, what they hate. We are going to be on with, let me get it right, El Clasico Kits.
Nice.
And we're also going to have Cornish Shirt Collector on as our two guests for the very first show. So it's going to be on Sunday, this Sunday, the 27th of March at 7 o'clock. So do join us. We're going to do some promo for it, obviously. But yeah, come and join us and get to know a few people from the community. I don't think Dan's coming back, so we can't say bye to him. But his
and I was just accepting Chelsea as a football club as well.
Oh, that was so funny. That was so funny. The link to his channel though is in the description. So go and check him out. He does some great content. Definitely worth one checking out. And make sure you go and watch that classic football shirts mystery box because it's absolutely brilliant. Definitely worth a watch. So yeah, that's it from us. Josh, thanks again, mate. As always, it's great to have the diva on the show.
Awesome show, man. It's an absolute delight, man. It's getting there, isn't it? We like literally. I think it's just explode like a little mini sort of explosion last week, and I think it's just gradually sort of getting. I don't know what I'm saying.
You're still thinking about that Newcastle shirt?
I am, mate. I am.
Yeah, well it up. So back next week.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wicked. James, you won't be, unfortunately, but
I
telling jokes.
No,
Are you?
I think I have to check. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Work or play, not sure, but one or the other. But it's just been great to see the interaction in the chat this week. We had a lot of comments. Much appreciated. Please give us suggestions, ideas. Watch back the previous shows, and just interact with us on the socials, and we will always get back in touch with people because it's just good to see everyone else's enthusiasm about it as well.
100%. So yeah, I'll just finish off. If you are new to Talking Kit, just subscribe. It's free to do, helps us grow, and we can bring you more great comment from the people in the shirt community, and that's what we are all about, telling those stories for the kits that mean the most to those people. So yeah, like the video, subscribe. We'll be back next Wednesday with another Full Kit Rankers. I'm back on Sunday, starting the new show, Get to Know. And yeah, make sure you keep it Talking Kit, and we will see you all very, very soon.